Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. Today, I'm here to show you and teach you how to counter street justice way better than pretty much everybody tries to, because many people have all these different sort of theories that they could easily beat street justice, and some of them are correct and others might not be correct, so let's go through them. So the first thing that many people need to understand is what street justice is. Street justice is a talent that I'm using right now here that essentially allows you to execute people with your pounce. So this is similar to Lex's Ultimate, but in a smaller scale. And for a lot of people, obviously, this is absolutely annoying to deal with. I mean, why wouldn't it be? But the people who end up suffering the most are tanks, because tanks are easier to execute for a larger portion. For example, here I have the Ying, which this is around the 35% mark, and if I execute her, I did 600 damage. Now, if I go, for example, for the Fernando, you'll be able to see that little skull there that tells me when I can execute. I'm going to be doing a lot more than that, 1,400. That's more than double, right? And obviously then you have other characters. So the people who end up suffering the most are tanks, because 35% of their max HP is still pretty strong. Now, should this talent, should it be nerfed? Should it be removed? Probably. I would actually rework it, bring back Artful Dodger, which would give a more, what's it called, survivability sort of side to a flank, which makes a lot more sense to me than executions, even though, you know, flanks were known for being the ones who confirm kills, and the more killing blows you'd had with a flank, the more, technically speaking, MVP you would be as a flank. Which is all very cool and fine, but nowadays, people sometimes, there's two sides to this. There's two sides for this coin. One of them is that people playing street justice sometimes will feed and pick street justice in the worst scenario possible. Sometimes they'll just be diving, trying to get that one kill, which doesn't bring any value whatsoever. And then the second one is when you have a comp that gets heavily countered by street justice, you will be in pain. Many of the situations, for example, have already happened here on live on stream, where when I'm playing with some viewers, for example, I got Electro and then I got Chi-Chi. They're both going Yago and Azan. As you can understand, they both have a lot of DR, a lot of HP, so street justice heavily counters this, like heavily, right? And they are both trying to survive, trying to live, trying to have fun, and guess what? You can't. Inaro doesn't have any mobility whatsoever. It's frustrating to deal with, and people get just upset. Like, they get a pounce on and they die. At least Lex requires that animation time that allows for people to maybe hide or block it or put a shield in front of it. Which brings me to my first thing. The first thing you need to counter street justice is shields. Why? Well, first of all, because shields are a way to mitigate damage, to just nullify it. And by that, with those shields, you can increase the time that it takes for you to reach the threshold that allows for street justice to do anything. Maeve doesn't necessarily benefit from being up in your face. She needs to play close, medium range, not up on their faces. So that is not going to help in any way possible. In fact, it's going to force the Maeve to probably buy a Wrecker so that they can break the shields and only then go to their faces. But not every champion can actually benefit from this. Unfortunately, for example, Khan and Fernando, and even Vivian, by the way, in case you're wondering, because Vivian also has a personal shield, all of these suffer from that. Like, she will just ignore it. She can pounce through that shield. But here's the thing. The longer you can keep that shield when she's not even close, the longer you can keep yourself at more like, high HP, the easier it is for her not to just go in and pounce, because guess what? Your HP's still full. You just pounce on her on the Fernando, but he's still at full HP, so it's not going to trigger. But imagine that you are low enough and you're holding your shield looking at Maeve. Guess what? You're just going to die. Don't do that. Just dash away. All right? If you have any sort of dash ult, just do it. All right? In fact, Fernando might be one of the best counters to street justice, because Fernando has a global ult of an AoE area of immortality that does not allow people to go below 1,500 HP. And in case you haven't noticed, squishies need at least like 600, 700 HP, close to that, to die. So if they can't go below 1,500, that means that Fernando might actually die after that ult is over, but he's successfully probably saved everybody else around him and gave enough downtime there to force the Maeve to go back. So that might be a very, very good thing to use. Now, here's the thing. You're probably thinking, okay, but let's talk about items, right? Let's talk about items. The best items to go against Maeve or Veteran, Haven, and then a couple of others. And this is the part where I'm going to tell you one thing. Veteran is not actually that good. It is good to allow you to keep yourself on max HP, which is fantastic. But you need to understand one thing. If you're going for Veteran, you're going to have resilience. And why? Because with more HP, Maeve gets more ult charge. So if she executes tanks, right, that means that she's getting a ton of ult charge. And in fact, I'm about to show you right now, which we already recorded this, but I'm going to cut into that section now, where I'm going to show you exactly how much of a difference it can actually make to have more HP. Okay, so here's a little test. We got a champion with 1,800 HP, which is next to there on the Eevee. We got J Barrick, which is close to 3,500 or 3,400 if I'm not mistaken. And we got Yaga, which is close to a total of 6,000. And in fact, I need Chi-Chi to go and get Veteran real quick for me, please. Let's see if it actually removes the mark. She got healed, so. Okay, so now we're gonna put her low enough to execute her. And be careful there with Eevee to not kill her, because I disabled the health regeneration. And there it is. So now they're all pretty much at close to the 35% mark. I'm gonna use my ult so that I can show you how much percentage I'm gonna get from each kill. Let's use the ult, wait for it to be over. And now we're gonna execute first Nexa with our 2%, and we got 3%. Great. I'm gonna wait for 10% so that I can show you exactly how much I'm gonna get from Barrick. So we got like 3% from Eevee. Now N9. 10%, and boom. We got 5%. So now we're gonna wait for 20 so we can do Chi-Chi here. So with this test, what I'm showing you is that having more HP doesn't actually help you. It feeds the Maeve even further. I got 12% from that. So you can see that in reality, yes, it might allow you to survive longer, but you're also fueling the Maeve in other ways. You're fueling, for example, when it comes to getting ult charge, which is enough for her to use to then close in distance with you, which is not something you want. You don't want Maeve to have that ultimate as fast as possible. And she's also getting more credits usually because the more damage you do, you get more more credits for doing damage. Now, let me show you the rest of the things that you need to follow in order to counter Street Justice. And now that you're back and you saw that, for example, you fight a Yago, you can get up to almost like a 12% ult charge from executing her. That's how much, you can do from that. Also, don't think that Street Justice is the most broken thing about Maeve. I think that Street Justice is very frustrating, but Cat Burglar can be even more frustrating. Not only does it give her more ult charge, it can have more benefit with, for example, long range life rip. It does a ton more damage. It works on shields. Cat Burglar is the full kit. If you want to be a one-trick Maeve and you want to destroy everything, go Cat Burglar. If you want to have fun, go Rogue's Gambit. If there's a lot of tanks on the enemy team, you go Street Justice. And that's part of the issue here. Many of the times I'll see people pick Street Justice into 5 targets that are all low HP. No tanks, they're all flanks, damages, and supports, and they're going with Street Justice. Guess what? You're a dumbass. I'm sorry to say it. but you are. That it's just it's simple mathematics. You need 35% HP to execute people, and somehow you decided that a target that only needs 600 to 700 HP, which, by the way, one set of daggers can do that for you, and you decided that you wanted to go street justice, when probably using the pounds for mobility is way better. It's a lot better that you do double jump, get one set of knives out, second set of knives, use this the pounds to really get yourself into maybe the side upwards, and then send the final set of daggers to kill somebody, than actually trying to execute, let's say, a ying with a pounce. All right, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The only thing I can hear from that is my aim sucks. I need something that allows me to execute people. If there's 1, 2, 3 tanks that are very hard to kill, they have a lot of DR, they got a lot of HP, then yes, I will agree with you. But if not, then I'm sorry, you're playing Maeve all wrong. This is not in a personal opinion, it's just based on logic. That pounce that I did on that Ying there that you saw, it did with 600. That pounce does 400. You got a 50% damage increase on 1 pounce. That's it. What's the benefit? Most of the times it won't even be that, because guess what? You're not just going to be damaging people to be at that 35% mark exactly as it is, right? And it's easier to get that person out of that 35% mark if they're a low HP champion than a tank. Because a tank, guess what? With so much HP means more healing. With Cauterize, that means it's a lot harder to get him out of the 35% HP mark. As a flank, a damage, or support, they got a lot less HP. So just 100 HP and heals can mean the whole difference. Which brings me to my final conclusion, that the best items to counter street justice are actually the following: Haven, Kill to Heal, and Lethality. Now, you're probably thinking, why Lethality? What are you on about, creeps? Well, nimble as it is it's very bad, and they decided they didn't want to buff it, even though there was the idea for it. It was meant to go all the way to 30%. Lethality goes really well like with Kill to Heal. Kill to Heal, obviously, why? Because just a simple assist can give you up to 600 HP for free, and that could be the complete difference between dying and not dying as soon as that Maeve is about a pounce. You'd be surprised the amount of times I've survived to the street justice just because of Kill to Heal. All right, trust me on this one. You want to go for it. Plus, it's cheaper than Veteran, so you got to spend a total of 1,800 HP credits just to get full Veteran, while you only need a total of 1,200 for full Kill to Heal. And that Kill to Heal triggers on all assists. You just, for example, doing one little tick damage with Talus from far away. Or Fernando, maybe you burn somebody on the side and that person ended up dying. You get 600 HP for free. That could be the whole difference between you dying and not. Haven, why? Well, because if you haven't followed up, it reduces the amount of damage you take. Now, it's not going to counter street justice, but it will counter the damage you are taking over the time in the game, allowing you to stay above that threshold for longer. Why I don't recommend Veteran? Because the more HP you got, the more ult charge and even credits is the Maeve gonna get when she does end up executing you. The higher HP pool you got, the more HP you got at 35% of your max HP. So as you can see, not a good idea. You can do that, and if you get resilience, you can then counter the ultimate of Maeve all the way to 2 seconds, all the way down to 2 seconds, sorry, which allows you to then see where Maeve is coming from, and you can just move away from her. That is also another counter, so try to stay away from her. And why Lethality, finally? Because characters like, for example, a Nara, or maybe a Tyra, Yago can buy this, but don't ask me why. I think maybe for like jump height. For Yago, I'll just say probably, I don't know, just be aware where that Maeve is and try to stay away from her. Also, if you go with the talent of the shields, I'm pretty sure those shields though end up allowing you to stay alive, you know, when you use the pulses, so try to go for that. and you take less damage because people have to break those shields first, so that means you take longer to get to the 35% HP mark. So if you're playing Yago, go for that, okay? Never go with the other one. You can also do one more thing. There's a card that gives you half of the DR you would get on Hardened, but only after the duration of Hardened is ended, and it makes Hardened, last less. For the next 2.5 seconds after that, you can actually just walk away with a little bit of the R, which allows you to not go into the 35% HP mark super fast, right? You're countering the damage you're taking all around, because remember, it's not only Maeve you have to deal with, you have to deal with everybody doing damage to you, and then Maeve coming in for the final kill. That is the issue. Kill to heal allows you to get some heals, sometimes even the most unexpected time in the match. You just get an assist and you get those 600 HP. And lethality on the other champions, except for Yago, obviously, will allow, for example, for an Aura to run away. Sometimes just strafing will be enough, okay, to you to just jump away from where Maeve is about to pounce to, okay? So those are some of the stuff. And then finally, the best one, which this is why I'm recommending to go Lethality, Haven, and Kill to Heal, Rejuvenate. Rejuvenate because Rejuvenate actually counters a portion of Cauterize. Not the perfect amount, not the perfect percentage. So if you're at like a 90% of Cauterize, you're not going to take away 30%, but it's pretty damn close. And why is that important? I mean, think about it. You're allowing your healer to possibly save you. With one simple heal, they can possibly save you. Okay, so I'm sorry to say, but if you're not playing Rejuvenate and at least Haven, if you're not playing at least these two, and I'd say, for the love of God, play Kill to Heal. If you're not running these 3 items minimum when playing against Street Justice, then why are you complaining? You're literally not trying to counter it in any way possible. Oh, but I'm playing an Aura, now that doesn't have mobility. Yes, she doesn't have mobility. Maybe you don't want to go for, let's say, Lethality, and you want to go for Nimble. You stack up some speed so you can walk away. Sure, but listen, Lethality gives you up to 60% speed on an assist. Just a mere touch to somebody gives you 60% speed for the next 3.5 seconds. That allows you to just relocate yourself, stick together to your team, and if anyone dies on that team next to the Maeve, you're going to have this. Both the jump height, which for many times it was amazing for me to actually run away with champions that don't have any mobility. And I know there's going to be people who are going to be like, oh no, Nimble's better than Lethality. Please, by all means, buy Nimble if you prefer it. I'm not, you're not your boss. I can't force you to pick anything. But if I had to pick it myself, it would be Haven, Rejuvenate, Lethality, and Kill to Heal. Also, this means the cards on your loadout that have more HP by base HP, it could work. It's the second tactic that I was telling you about, but it ends up feeding and fueling the Maeve more. So cards that actually have the R are actually better. So that and speed. Speed and the R. Okay, those are the 2 best things to counter a Street Justice Maeve, at least in my personal opinion. Obviously, there will be people who will not agree and have probably different opinions, and that's completely fine. We all have different opinions about many different subjects, and you are free to ignore what I just said. But for those who didn't know absolutely anything on how to counter Street Justice, I've now given you a couple of tools that you can just try to put in practice and see how less of a bummer it is to go against Street Justice, all right? How less obnoxious it is, all right? So give it a try, and good luck dealing with all those Street Justice Maeves in the future. And if you are the Maeve playing Street Justice, please, for the love of God, stop playing Street Justice into one single tank, unless that tank is very hard to kill, maybe like it's a Yago or something, okay? Please stop. All right, if I see another Street Justice Maeve playing versus 5 low HP champions, I will report her for griefing, 100%, no questions asked. Okay, that is the very unique talent, and you're using it in the worst possible way possible. It makes no sense. Also, I'm joking, I'm not gonna report you for that, but that's still very stupid. Thank you so much for watching, that'll be it for today. Thank you for the people who helped me record that little test of the HP pools and the percentages. And yeah, there you go. That's pretty much it. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.